The rain began softly, almost hesitant, brushing against the tarmac like a whisper before gaining strength and rhythm. Soon it came harder, hammering the sleek metal wings of the fighter jets that stood lined in perfect formation. The wind carried the scent of fuel and salt, a sharp reminder of discipline and power. The camera drifts slowly through the scene, gliding past puddles that mirror the stormy sky above, stopping on a lone figure walking across the base. A duffel bag hangs from her shoulder, heavy not with belongings but with the weight of finality. Captain Alana Reed, that was her name, but across the skies, in every mission flown and every battle survived, she was known by something else, something the wind itself seemed to remember. Valkyrie, a name born in war, forged in courage, and whispered with reverence among those who had seen her fly. She had earned it not through politics or rank, but through fire and flight, through the cold pulse of danger and the quiet defiance of fear. Tonight, however, she wasn't walking toward her squadron. She was walking away from it. Captain Reed. The sharp voice broke through the rain. Heavy boots struck the pavement with purpose. Admiral Warren's tone cut through the storm like a blade. You're done here. His words fell with the weight of final judgment. The man stood tall, rain streaking through his silver hair, his uniform as immaculate as his reputation. Around them, the base froze. Young recruits, aircrew, even hardened SEALs stood in tense silence. No one questioned him. The Admiral's word was law. Alana didn't argue. Her jaw clenched, her breath steady. Yes, sir, she replied, voice calm, eyes unblinking. She didn't flinch when he turned away. She adjusted the strap of her duffel and kept walking. Her face, illuminated briefly by a flash of lightning, was one that carried stories too heavy for words: loss, duty, and quiet defiance. But then something shifted. From the far end of the hangar, a group of Navy SEALs noticed her walking. They hadn't heard what was said. They didn't need to. The patch on her flight jacket, the lettering on her bag, it was enough. A whisper passed among them, faint but electric. Valkyrie. It began as a murmur. Then another voice repeated it, and another, until every man in sight knew who she was. They straightened instinctively, boots together, backs stiff, and one by one they raised their hands in salute. The air stilled. Even the Admiral paused mid-step, confusion flashing across his eyes as he saw the silent line of soldiers, their faces hard, their hands held high toward the woman he had just dismissed. When his gaze turned back to Alana, she had stopped too. She met his eyes, rain washing over her, the calm in her expression striking harder than anger ever could. No one spoke. The only sounds were the rain and the synchronized motion of salutes snapping upward in reverence. The story rewinds then, the music deepening. Alana Reed hadn't been born into rank or legacy. She came from a small town where dreams rarely left the ground. Her father repaired engines, her mother taught math. She was meant for a simple life, until the world changed. War found its way into her heart through the television, through stories of people risking everything for something greater. At 19, she enlisted. At 22, she was already a fighter pilot flying into hostile skies, her courage growing with every mission. Her call sign was born on a night of chaos. A squad of Marines was pinned down in enemy territory, their situation desperate. The airspace was crawling with anti-aircraft fire. Command hesitated, but Alana didn't. She pushed her jet into the storm, broke through fire and smoke, and delivered the strike that saved them. She circled back, until every Marine was safe. When she landed, shaking, drenched in sweat, one of the survivors looked at her with awe and said softly, "She came down like a Valkyrie." The name stuck, but with recognition came resentment. Some envied her courage, others feared her influence. Among them was Admiral Warren, a man who believed more in hierarchy than humanity, who valued obedience over initiative. Alana's independence challenged him, her bravery an affront to his rigid order. When the moment came, he struck. Accusations of insubordination, reckless heroics, disobedience. Paperwork was filed, and the outcome was sealed. Her wings were stripped, her record tarnished, her service ended. Yet those who had lived because of her remembered differently. That was why, on that rain-soaked evening, those SEALs saluted. They saluted not a rank, but a legend. The scene swells with slow-motion imagery, the salutes sharp, faces solemn, the rain glinting on their uniforms. Admiral Warren stands silent, realization dawning. Authority can demand obedience, but it can never demand respect. From the ranks, an older SEAL steps forward, his voice steady despite the storm. "Permission to speak, sir." The Admiral nods. "That woman," the SEAL begins, pointing toward Alana, "pulled my team out of a kill zone when everyone else was too scared to fly. I watched her take fire just to save men she'd never met. With all due respect, Admiral, you may outrank her on paper, but in the field, she outranks us all." The words hang in the air like thunder that refuses to fade. The Admiral says nothing. His expression hardens, but behind his eyes, something falters, a crack in his conviction. Alana walks off the base that night without ceremony or applause. The sound of her boots echoes against the pavement, mingling with the fading storm. No medals, no farewell speeches. Just rain, and the quiet gaze of soldiers who understood what true leadership looked like. But legends don't disappear. Months later, chaos erupts overseas. An Allied convoy ambushed deep behind enemy lines. Communication cut. Air support grounded. Command scrambles for a solution, someone who knows the terrain, someone fearless enough to fly where others won't. When they ask the SEALs who should lead the operation, the answer is unanimous. Valkyrie. And so, she returns. The scene explodes into motion, jet engines roaring to life, the storm clouds parting as her aircraft takes off once again. Her call sign, painted boldly on the fuselage, catches the first light of dawn. Inside the cockpit, her hands are steady, her breathing calm. Over the radio, her voice breaks through the static, confident, unwavering. "Ground team, this is Valkyrie. I have eyes on you." The SEALs on the ground hear it, and despite the chaos around them, a calmness settles over their hearts. Because they know who's up there. In the command center, Admiral Warren listens too, his heart heavy. He watches her maneuver through tracer fire, guiding the operation that might save them all. The sky becomes a battlefield of light and sound. Missiles streak past her jet, the roar of engines blending with the rattle of gunfire below. Every second is a gamble, every breath defiance. And then, suddenly, silence. The enemy line breaks. The convoy moves. The mission succeeds. Over the radio, one voice breaks through. "Thank you, Valkyrie." Then another. "God bless you, Valkyrie." Her name echoes across the airwaves, a chorus of gratitude carried by those who owe her their lives. When the noise fades, the final scene opens on a quiet cliff overlooking the ocean. The sun dips low, painting the world in hues of gold and crimson. Alana stands alone, her jacket folded beside her. For the first time in years, she breathes freely, no ranks, no orders, no weight of expectation. Her story ends not in medals or speeches, but in peace. The camera lingers on the horizon as, in the distance, a line of SEALs appears, saluting once more, not because they must, but because they want to. The screen fades to black. Legends are not written in reports or commendations. They are written in the lives saved, the courage witnessed, and the respect freely given. And as the music fades, the voiceover returns, soft but powerful. If this story moved you, if it made you remember the quiet courage behind every uniform, then honor it. Because stories like these are not about glory, they're about the spirit that keeps us safe, even when no one is watching.